O flower of Scotland, when will we see you rise again? Well, we're seeing it right now, guys. We're seeing that rise as the Scotland national team qualifies for the World Cup. We will be going to North America in 2026, and everything about life feels just about right. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. It's not been great for Scotland. Scottish football over the past few months, over the past year, hasn't really been in a great place. We've seen our teams take some absolute tankings in Europe, whether it be Champions League, Europa League, Conference League. We've seen some really poor performances from Scotland. We've seen Scotland get some bad defeats along the way. We've seen them grind out some good results as well. But last night, should I say, one of the best results, a 4-2 win against Denmark. I think this is what Scotland needed. A lot of people were losing faith in Steve Clarke. A lot of people were losing faith in the club team's coefficient now, going down to an all-time low. And then Scotland just pull that out the bag. So absolutely fantastic. Funny thing is, in the preview, I predicted those results. I predicted Greece to beat Scotland, and I predicted Scotland to beat Denmark. However, I didn't factor in Belarus. I thought Belarus were going to lose to Denmark. Therefore, I thought we were probably going to finish second in the group. But I got both results correct. I predicted we would beat Denmark, and I predicted we would lose to Greece. So, yeah, there you go. Hopefully I can predict a Scotland World Cup win next year, and maybe we'll go all the way to the final and lift that trophy. But we will start in Group A. We're going to go through all the UEFA groups, and then we'll look at the World Cup qualification on a whole, and we'll see which teams have qualified, because, I mean, we must be getting to the stage now where most teams have qualified. I know there's like a few spots, I believe, left in like Africa and Asia. I think you've got the South America and Oceania playoff. I think they have to play each other, but for the most part, I imagine that we are getting pretty close to filling up all 48 teams that are going to participate in this tournament. But we'll start here with Group A. So, Northern Ireland, unfortunately, falling short. You can see the last two games there. They lost to Slovenia, 1-0. Bobacek in the 91st minute broke Northern Irish hearts. And then Northern Ireland beat Luxembourg. Germany obviously smashed Slovakia 6-0, so it's alright, it's all ifs and buts, but if the results stay the same, and if Northern Ireland didn't concede that late goal, then Northern Ireland would have been qualified for the World Cup, or at least would have had that second spot, they would have had that playoff spot, so sucks for them. However, I think they might already have a playoff spot via the Nations League or something like that. I'm not too sure, I think they've got one. But let's have a look then at the group. So, yeah, it does say advance to the playoffs via the Nations League. I'm going to assume, I can't remember how it works, I haven't done a deep dive into it because it's very confusing now with all these different ways or all these different qualification paths. But I'd like to think that if you advance via second place in your group, you're going to get an easier tie than what you'll get through your playoffs. I'm not too sure. Or in your playoffs, are you guaranteed to get someone from the same playoff, group as you, like an A or a B or a C or a D. Not too sure, but either way, Northern Ireland and Slovakia both advance to the playoffs. Right, Group B, big result for Kosovo. So you can see they they beat Slovenia, by 2-0, and then they drew with Switzerland, the group leaders. Sweden drew with Slovenia, and Sweden also lost to Switzerland by 4-1. That means the league table looks like this, pretty dire for Sweden. However, they do get a Nations League playoff, which I don't think they deserve. I don't even know where they finished in the Nations League. I would need to look at it. We will maybe have a dive into that. But yeah, just, in my opinion, just too many teams sneaking in through this Nations League playoff. I don't like it. I think it's watering down the World Cup. There's too many teams in it. It's giving teams too many chances. I think they need to do away with it. I don't like it. Initially, I thought it was pretty cool, but we've seen now multiple Euros with 24 teams in it, with teams qualifying for the Nations League, and I don't like it. And I've been consistent. I said that when Scotland qualified, it didn't feel like we properly qualified, in my opinion, for the first Euros, when we beat Israel and Serbia. Now, I was happy at the time, obviously, I was delighted, but it doesn't feel genuine, in my opinion. It does feel like it feels like you're also rans, you're not good enough, and you're getting shoved through the back door in order to get into the venue. Don't like it, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, for me, nah, I don't like it. I like this, though. Scotland, top of Group C, with a big win against Denmark, 4-2. Greece obviously beat us in the game prior, 3-2. And Belarus, in their last 2 league games, picked up 2 points. So they drew against Denmark and they drew against Greece. Very good results there for Belarus, and we were the only team then to beat Belarus home and away. I think when you look at it, Belarus are a bit unfortunate. The game where we beat them, was it the one we beat them 2-1? I don't think we're that great. I think 2-1 flattered us for sure. And then Belarus, who else did they play? They lost 6. Wow. How did they lose 6-0 to Denmark in October? But then a month later, went to Denmark and got a 2-2 draw. That's amazing. And then in the opening game, they lost 5-1 to Belarus. So it is kind of crazy. I mean, they lost 5-1 to Greece. It's kind of crazy that Belarus, got absolutely pumped by both Greece and Denmark. But then when they played them second time around in a short period of time, they got 2 draws. Either way, we're through. It's great. Those goals, oh man, can't beat them. McTominay overhead kick, the Kieran Tierney left footed strike for about, 28, 30 yards out. Lovely, curled into the corner. And then Kenny McLean for the halfway line. It doesn't get much better than that. And of course, you also had a Shankland tap in too. So, absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Scotland into the World Cup, and now Denmark have to settle for a playoff spot, which is shit for them, but good for us. Right, Group D, France then topped this with 5 wins and 1 draw. Last few games seen France beat Ukraine and then beat Azerbaijan. Iceland defeated Azerbaijan and then lost to Ukraine in the final game. So, Iceland, had they beat Ukraine, would have been through. So they'll be upset with that, and probably maybe should have done better there. Iceland should have. I don't know. I mean, they lost to Ukraine twice. So when you lose to Ukraine twice, you probably are going to struggle. But Ukraine also, they struggled against Azerbaijan. They drew against them. So yeah, Iceland also got a draw against France. So I think Iceland will be disappointed with that. All they had to do was win one of the games against Ukraine and they would have been through. So, or even draw one of them. Had they drew one of the games against Ukraine, they also would have been through because it would have put both teams on 8 points and they had better goal difference. So, I think Iceland deserved that, but they didn't get it. Ukraine sneaked through into the playoffs. Group E, Spain, pretty convincing with Turkey in second place, and then Georgia and Bulgaria in third and fourth, just, making up the numbers. Georgia losing 4-0 to Spain, Turkey beating Bulgaria by 2-0. Then Bulgaria beat Georgia 2-1, and Spain finished off their campaign, dropping their first points with a 2-2 draw against Turkey. And, probably the 2 best teams in that group, I'd say, going through. Bulgaria's been poor for a long time now. Georgia's got a couple of superstars, but overall, yeah, if you asked me to pick the order of the group, that's the order I would have picked. I would have went in that order: Spain, Turkey, Georgia, Bulgaria. So not really surprised. Group F, okay, this was surprising. So after 3 games, Ireland had 1 point. It did not look good for them. Drew their opening game, 2-2 against Hungary. 93rd minute, Adam Adea equaliser. Then they lose 2-1 to Armenia, followed by a 1-0 defeat in the 90th minute against Portugal. At that point, you're thinking they're beat. But they got a win against Armenia. And then in the last 2 games, a 2-0 win over Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo sent off, and then a 3-2 win with a parrot hat-trick against Hungary, with goals coming in the 80th minute and the 96th minute. That's mental, absolutely mental. Portugal finished off strong with 9-1 win over Armenia. And if you look at top goal scorers, Troy Parrott scored the same amount of goals as Cristiano Ronaldo. So there you go. Crazy. Big Troy Parrott. What a qualifying campaign he's had. And Ireland then advanced to the World Cup playoffs. Hungary must be thinking, what the fuck has happened? Shocker. Absolutely shocker. Just goes to show, never give up though. Always got a chance, and Republic of Ireland have proved that. They've won their last 3 games in the group in order to qualify, so good for them. Right, Group G now. Got Holland topping it, unbeaten. Poland in second place. Probably about the order you'd expect. I would maybe have switched Lithuania and Malta around, but other than that, that's kind of what you'd expect for that group. Last couple of games, you see Malta beat Finland by 1-0. Poland and Holland, the 2 best teams in the group, had a 1-1 draw. This Poland game here, so, right guys, this happened on Monday night. I did a bet, and I can't remember all the other teams, but I had Poland, and Poland were drawn 2-2. and the cash out was like 20 quid, and the bet was worth like 180 quid or some shit like that. And I thought, well, you know what, Poland was the only team I was waiting on, and I was looking at like the shots and the chances created, and it didn't look like they were dominating them at all. In fact, Malta were actually pretty level, and I thought, fuck it, I'll cash out, I'll take the 20 quid. And then Poland ended up scoring, so thank you for nothing, Selinsky. And I was like 160 quid I just chucked away. Maybe I should have had a bit of faith, but I just looked at the stats and I thought, nah, it doesn't look like they're going to score. You'd expect Poland to be like completely in control, dominating, like in terms of shots and possession and chances created, corners, but it wasn't. You know, it was a pretty fairly level game. So yeah, I cashed out, cost myself 160 quid. Not too happy about that, but it is Holland and Poland that go through. Holland automatically and Poland to the playoffs, right? Group H, Austria top this one with Bosnia and Romania getting playoff spots. San Marino there, no points, conceded 39 goals, minus 37 overall. Not good for them at all. You can see the final games here. Austria beat Cyprus, Bosnia beat Romania, then Bosnia and Austria drew, and Romania scudded San Marino by 7 goals to 1. And there's former Rangers man in there, Hadji with a goal. We also had Dieko with a goal there, former City player, former West Ham midfielder. Arnautovic also scored for Austria, so some recognisable names in there. But the group finishes with Austria sitting top, Bosnia in second, and Romania sneak through with a playoff spot. Group I, Norway, absolute perfection. Didn't expect this, I'll be honest, and they blew Italy away on both occasions. Norway, phenomenal, 37 goals scored, 5 goals against, 32 plus. Italy have not qualified for the last 2 World Cups, so they're going to have to settle for a playoff spot here. Once again, they find themselves in danger of maybe not making it. But, I mean, look at that. Norway going to Italy and winning by 4 goals to 1. What has happened to the Italians? And more importantly, what has happened to Norway? They're on absolute fire. A brace for Haaland. Israel had a big 4-1 win against Moldova, but they were already out by this point. Italy did beat Moldova by 2-0, and then Norway smashed Estonia again by 4 goals to 1. So 4 goals for Haaland over the 2 games. 16 goals. 16 goals for Erling Haaland over the the campaign. That is fucking insane. 5 goals for Rangers midfielder Tilo Asgard. That's mental. That is absolutely mental. 16 goals. More than the next top 3 goal scorers combined. What is Haaland doing? That's crazy. What a machine he is. Anyway, Norway, I just go back to them here. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. They deserve all the praise that they're getting. Could be a dark horse, honestly. Might be worth 10 or 20 quid, 50 quid to win the World Cup the way they're playing right now. Phenomenal. Right, Group J. As it kind of just disappears on me. Don't know why that happened, but yep, the top spot disappeared on Wales, although they did finish very strong, so we'll look at the group in a minute, but they won by 7 goals to 1 in their final game, so look at that. Both Belgium and Wales scoring 7 goals in their last match. Before that, you'd Wales beating Liechtenstein by 1-0, and Kazakhstan drawn with Belgium, which was a bit of a surprise, but Belgium had already qualified thanks to that 4-2 win over Wales, so that Kazakhstan result didn't really matter in the end. Of course, if Belgium slipped up in the last game, Wales could have topped the group, but it was never going to happen. So, yeah, Belgium, top spot. 3 draws, 5 wins. Not the most convincing, but, decent enough. Wales advanced to the playoffs. Macedonia go to the playoffs via the Nations League. England, I've got to give them the props, don't I? It's an easy group, but still, it's domination. It's 8 wins. Not as good as Norway, in my opinion, but still pretty impressive. 22 goals scored, 0 goals against. England just, easily making their way through that group. 2-0 wins over Serbia and Albania. Albania beat Andorra by 1-0, and Serbia defeated Latvia by 2 goals to 1, and Harry Kane then sitting with 8 goals. Again, not quite as good as Haaland, sitting on half of them, right? Group L, Croatia, final group here, unbeaten, get all the way through there. 7 wins, 1 draw, 22 points. Czech Republic, 16 points, sitting in second place. They will go through the playoffs. Faroe Islands did very well, picked up 4 wins. but they also had 4 defeats. Pretty good though. Gibraltar, minus 25 in the goal difference, not great there. Last few games, Montenegro beat Gibraltar, Croatia beat Faroes, and then Czech Republic beat Gibraltar 6-0, and Croatia sneaked past Montenegro by 3 goals to 2. So, confirmation. It's going to be Croatia going through and Czech Republic into the playoffs. Right, so let's have a look here then and see which teams have actually qualified then. So you've got the hosts, Mexico, Canada, America. They've all qualified. Then you've got Japan, New Zealand, Iran, Argentina, Uzbekistan, South Korea, Jordan, Australia, Brazil, Ecuador, Uruguay, Colombia, Paraguay, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, Algeria, Ghana, Cape Verde, South Africa, Qatar, England. These all qualified from the last international break as well, so they're not really new, those ones, but thought we'd just look at them anyway. Saudi Arabia, Ivory Coast, Senegal. Right, now we have new qualifiers. So all the following teams are the teams that have qualified since this most recent international break. You got France, Croatia, Portugal, Norway, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Austria, Switzerland, Spain, and Scotland. They're all the UEFA group winners. And then from the CONCACAF group winners, you've got Group A, B, and C, which was won by Panama, Curacao, never heard of them. Curacao, no idea, and Haiti. And that's the teams that then have won the CONCACAF groups A, B, and C. So that leaves us what? That doesn't leave us that many teams left. Let's have a look here. So where's the teams that have qualified? Teams qualified. I think in total we've got 38 plus 3, so that leaves us 7 teams to go. Can we have a look then at the playoffs? So let me see here. Let's have a look at the playoffs and see what is happening in terms of, is it going to be the rest of the teams might be made up, will they be made up of UEFA teams? I'm not entirely sure. So second place teams, all 12 advance. So, alright, let's have a look at this then. So, alright, no, we don't want to have a look at that. So I think the draw for the playoffs then will probably be made on December, but that's the teams that are going to be in it. So 16 teams advanced to the playoffs. The participants were not decided solely on the results of the first round, with 4 of the spots allocated to the group winners of the Nations League. Right, okay, so these are the 12 runner-ups from the groups, and I guess they'll just be joined by the 4 Nations League winners, which were, is that them here? Romania, Sweden, North Macedonia, and Northern Ireland. I'm not entirely sure how they allocate these spots, but I mean, there you go. They did win their Nations League group winners. Okay, so they all won Group C. I guess that's fair enough. Moldova and San Marino won Group D, but I guess because I guess it's like first come, first served, so you've got to give the first 4 spots to the highest teams ranked. Then, yeah, I guess that means that Romania, Sweden, North Macedonia, and Northern Ireland get the spots. Then that works out then, I guess. So it's going to be those 4 teams, Romania, Sweden, North Macedonia, and Northern Ireland. And they will be joined by these 12 teams. And then I'm assuming we'll get like the 16 teams getting separated into like 4 paths of 4. And then from the 4 paths of 4, you're going to have like 2 semis and a final. So, yeah, that's how it will go. I think the draw will be made on December. Or maybe not. Is this it here? Wait, okay, so the seeding pots for the semi-finals are as follows. The FIFA Men's World Rankings of November 19 are shown below in the brackets. Right, so we've got pot 1, pot 2, pot 3, and pot 4. If Scotland, I believe Scotland would have been pot 3 if we didn't qualify, or maybe we would have been pot 2. Can't exactly remember, but let's look at this. So, is this the brackets then? Path A. Okay, so they'll just be drawn. So each team will get drawn, and you will be drawn into either path A, B, C, or D. Alright, so you're going to get one of each. So let's say, for example, Wales, hardest group possible, or the hardest path they could get would probably be, what, Italy, maybe Republic, and then possibly, I don't know, all these teams. I'd argue Northern Ireland might be the best team from pot 4. So yeah, it's going to be one from each pot will get put into a path, and then they'll make their way. Honestly, I think there's a good chance for some of the home nations here to get through. Even you look at the pot 1 teams, Italy are not the Italy of the past. I certainly wouldn't be fearing them. I'm not saying I'd want them. I'm not saying it's a gimme by any means. They're probably still the favourites against any teams that are here. But yeah, for me, this is very doable. I look at Northern Ireland, Republic and Wales. I think at least one of them, that's my prediction, I think at least one of them will be in the World Cup. Just because there's a lot of bang average teams here. I'm looking at, even if you look at like pot 3, I mean, Albania's not great, Kosovo's not great, Bosnia's not great. You look at pot 2, I don't really rate Slovakia, Czech Republic. I mean, Poland are alright, kinda, but yeah, I think there's a chance. I think there is a real chance here for these teams to do well. Now, Northern Ireland, they will be guaranteed, so they have to play a pot, in the semi-finals, they will play a pot 1 team. So they will get either Italy, Denmark, Turkey or Ukraine in the semi-finals, and then Wales will get either Republic, Albania, Bosnia or Kosovo in the semi-finals, and then reversely, Republic will get either Poland, Wales, Czech or Slovakia in the first semi-final, and then obviously they will meet the winner of the other semi, and then that's it, guys. Those 4 teams will go to the World Cup, and then after that we're kind of running out of spots. There's not many more spots to go, so I think we've got like maybe an Oceania playoff or something like that. I don't know if it'll show us in this, but we're definitely running out of spaces, so yeah, running out of spaces big time. Inter-Confederation playoffs. Okay, so here's another. So we've got Bolivia, Dr. Congo, Iraq, and New Caledonia. So we're going to get 2 of these teams going through, and then that leaves us. My maths tells me there should be 1 more team. Did we miss it? I think there should be 1 more team. If we look at it says there's 38 teams that have qualified, and then plus 3 for the host nations. That takes you on to 41. We need to get what? We need to get another 7 teams to take up to 48. We're going to get the 4 teams from the Nations League, and then that means we need to get another 3. But for some reason, only two of these 4 can qualify. So I don't know where the last team's coming from, but yeah, who's going to come through from this? I would have to imagine Bolivia. I think they're a step above the other teams, but obviously you get 2, so I'm not entirely sure. Probably Bolivia and I mean maybe Dr. Congo. I don't know. Dr. Congo could be them. Either way, guys, let me know down below who you think's going to qualify. If you can find out where the other team to make up the 48 is coming from, then let us know, because I just I've missed a team. I've absolutely missed a team for some reason, and I don't know where they are, and I can't be arsed spending the next 10 minutes trying to find them. So yeah, that's going to do it. Let us know your thoughts down below. I'll catch you in the next one. Been Fog Football. Thanks for watching. Doesn't matter who the other team is. The only team that matters is Scotland, and we're going to the World Cup. Till next time, peace.